Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavignopashantaye Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Shaktaya Pautramakalmusham Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yoginam Vishwanathakyam Asmattataswarupinam Atmadabhat Param Labham Vaktaram Nakadachana Gītārtha-grantha-kartāram Sri Gurum Pranamāmyaham Yontah Pravishyame Vacham Dhritim Buddhim Prachodayat Om Namah Sabhabhyas Sabhapatibhyascha Vo Namaha Om. Friends, we are going to be doing Vishnu Sahasranama 10th session. Today we shall be considering names 90 to 113. It starts with Ahasam Vatsaropyalaham Pratyaya Sarvadarshanaham. Ahaha. Ahaha means day, daylight. He is as luminous as daylight. You see, one wakes up from the beginningless sleep of ignorance, and right then one finds the presence of the absolute reality without any further light. The absolute reality does not need any other light to light it. It is self-luminous. So, he is as luminous as daylight. When daylight shows up, the daylight usually shows up the moment one wakes up from a good night's sleep. So also, one wakes up from the beginningless sleep of ignorance, and the absolute reality is right there. This is confirmed by Gita saying in the 5th chapter, Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanaham tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati bharata. Arjuna, Jnanena tu tadajnanam, for those whose ignorance has been destroyed by knowledge. Jnanena tat ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha. For whomsoever ignorance has been destroyed by knowledge, that very knowledge, like the sun, illumines the supreme reality. To illuminate the sun, no other light is necessary. So also, to illuminate the absolute reality, no other light is necessary. The very knowledge that is there when ignorance is destroyed, that itself, Tesham Adityavate Jnanam Prakashayati Bharata. Just like the sun, it illuminates the supreme reality. So, Ahaha. Ahasam Vatsaro Pyalaha. Samvatsaraha. A little grammar is worthwhile here. We have actually used this grammar very often. Ahas samvatsaro vyalaha. Samvatsaro vyalaha. Samvatsaro vyalaha. The words there is samvatsaraha vyalaha. That visargam, samvatsaraha, when it is followed by a voiced consonant and unvoiced consonants are there. Now, samvatsaraha plus vyalaha becomes samvatsaro vyalaha. We have seen it many times. Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya. Vashatkaraha Bhuta. Bhu, that is a voiced consonant. Bhuta Krit Bhuta Brit Bhavo Bhutatma. That Bhavo, Bhuta Brit Bhavaha Bhutatma. So, this is a very elementary point of grammar, but this will be very often useful to know, because it will occur very often in Vishnu Sahasranam when the Visargam is followed by a voiced consonant. So here, Samvatsaro Vyalaha, Samvatsaraha Vyalaha. Samvatsaraha means year. year. Why is he called Samvatsaraha? He is the Kalarupi. He is time. You see, the day, when the day passes, night comes, and when the day and night pass away, the next day comes. Then immediately the cycle. We are able to see the previous cycle and today's cycle, yesterday's cycle and today's cycle. Similarly, month, last month, this month. Last Paksha, this Paksha. Last year, this year. More than that, we are not able to see. Everything comes in a cycle. Of course, as time passes on, for several number of years, the Yuga also changes the cycle, and again the same thing repeats. But we are not there to see the change of Yuga. The longest thing which we can see in a cycle is only Samvatsara. So Samvatsara is the Kalarupi for the Lord. He is the Lord. He is the Kalarupi. Therefore he is Samvatsara. Ahas Samvatsaro Vyalaha. Vyalaha. Vyalaha means a wild animal. It cannot be caught easily. Tiger, lion, you think of any wild animal. Or he also, the Lord also, cannot be caught easily, cannot be grasped easily. Therefore he is Vyalaha. You see, Visheshena Alati Vyapnoti iti Vyalaha. By very speciality, he pervades. You see, Visheshena Alati. Sanskrit is such a root, verb root has several meanings, and all these meanings are exploited by the commentators when they find the meanings for the Sahasranam. And affect you most unexpectedly is time. You see, it is the Lord who is in the form of time. He is the one as time. Time catches everybody in its grip. He catches everybody in his grip. Visheshena alati adadati iti Vyalaha. If you write Visheshena alati, specially by specific means, he pervades. That is alati, vyapnoti. By specific means, he catches everybody in his grip through time. You see, that is alati, adadati. That is also Vyalaha. So there are several meanings. Today you are going to see for almost every word different meanings, and you are going to see the richness of the Sanskrit language as we go along. Asahas samvatsaro Vyalaha pratyaya sarvadarshanaha. Pratyaya means deep faith, consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma, Aitareya Upanishad, one of the Mahavakyas. Our consciousness is Brahman. That itself gives you that faith. The word pratyaya means deep faith. Pratyaya artham tava nitam tena dattam mahatmana, says Hanuman to Sita in Valmiki Ramayana. He has carried that small ring which Lord Rama gave to him to be shown to be given to Sita when he finds her. Actually, when he finds her in the Ashokavana, slowly when he unfolds all the story, he gives it to her. Pratyayartham tabanitam. I brought this so that you may believe what I am saying. See, you should not be misled by my looks or by my vanara appearance and things like that. Pratyayartham tavanitam. So pratyaya is deep faith, deep knowledge. It is not superficial knowledge, it is deep knowledge. That is pratyaya. And what is the deep knowledge? The deep knowledge is the knowledge of the absolute reality. So pratyaya itself denotes absolute reality. Therefore, here Ahasamvatsaro Vyalaha Pratyaya Sarvadarshanaha. Pratyayaha Sarvadarshanaha. He sees everything. He can see everything. He has eyes everywhere. Sarvatah Panipadam Tate Sarvatokshishiro Mukam. Gita 13th chapter. Sarvatah, he has eyes and he has hands and feet everywhere. Sarvatokshishiro Mukam. He has face everywhere, eyes everywhere. So he knows everything. But he does not need eyes to see all these things. See, because he can see without eyes. He can see without the physical instrument of the eyes. By his omnipresence, everywhere he is present. So thereby he reveals himself. Sarvadarshanaha. That is another way of looking at Sarvadarshanaha. Ahasam matsaro vyalaham pratyaya sarvadarshanaha. Aja, next sloka. Ajas sarveshwara siddha. Ajaha. Ajaha means unborn. Na jayate. He is never born. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavam atmamayaya. Fourth chapter in the Gita. Ajopi san avyayatma. I am unborn. You see, I am unborn and I am the immutable self. Avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. I am the Lord of all beings. But I resort to my power of becoming. Prakritim swam adhishtaya. I resort to my power of Prakriti. Sambhavam atmamayaya. By my Maya, I take my birth. So, Ajaha, unborn, even though he is unborn, he shows up, manifests himself purely by his Maya. This is one meaning, Ajaha. Another meaning, the root Aji signifies movement or throwing away something. So Ajaha means remover of obstacles. What are the obstacles that he removes? He removes the obstacles of ignorance for us to realize this absolute reality. Tesham eva anukampartam ahamajnanajam tamah. Everything goes back to either the Upanishad or the Gita. That is the beauty of Vishnu Sahasranam. Every name it is built into it. There is an inbuilt Vedantic meaning, the meaning from the Gita, the meaning from the Upanishads. So here is this shloka from the 10th chapter. Anukampartam ahamajnanajam tamah nashayamyatmabhavastaha jnanadipena bhaswata. By taking compassion on those people who are devotees to me, tesham eva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha. By the ignorance, the darkness which has resulted out of ignorance, beginningless ignorance, I destroyed. Nashayami atmabhavastha jnanadipena bhaswata. By the brilliance, by the sun of jnana, wisdom. So, Ajaha is, he is unborn. Ajopi san avyayatma. That is one meaning. The other meaning is, he is remover of obstacles. So, Ajaha. Sarveshwaraha. Sarva Ishwaraha. He is the God of all. Almighty for everybody. Yolokatrayamavishye bibartyavyaya Ishwaraha. Right? He spans the three worlds, bibartyavyaya Ishwaraha, and bears the burden of the entire universe in him. He is the God of all. He is the Ishwara. He is the monitor of everything. Sarveshwaraha. Ajas Sarveshwara Siddha. Siddha. He is there always and everywhere. You don't have to go and search for him through various means. He is like a buried treasure ready for you. You have only to look at the right spot and he is there. The right means, the right yoga, the right path. Take it. Then you are getting him. Siddha. Siddhihi, next word. Siddhihi. Siddhihi is the goal, destination. He is the goal. He is the destination. He is the greatest benefit of all. Siddhihi. Ajas sarveshwara siddha. Siddhis sarvadhirachyutaham. Sarvadihi. Sarva Adihi. He is the original source for everything. Sarva Adihi. He is the original source for everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitoha. 10th chapter, Yagandi Gita. Sarva aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the source for everything. Mattas sarvam pravartate. From me everything proceeds. All things proceed from me. Thus thinking, iti matva bhajante mam Buddha, the wise people, bhava samanvita, with deep loyalty to truth, the wise adore me. Iti matva bhajante mam. 10th chapter. So sarvadihi. Achyutaha. Achyutaha is one of the 14 important names of the Lord. What are the 14 important names? The 12 names, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, etc., up to Padmanabha, Damodara, those 12 names. Then 2 more, actually 3 more, Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, but Govinda is already there among the 12, therefore we don't count it again. Achyuta and Ananta. Achyuta actually occurs 3 times in the Vishnu Sahasranam. My style of presentation is I do not give the different meanings at the different places. When the first time it occurs, though it occurs in several places, I give all the meanings right at the first occurrence. So when in the other thing, when the second time it comes, I will simply refer you back to this position. So Achyutaha, 3 meanings. It occurs 3 times, 3 meanings. Yasman Achyuta Purvoham Achyuta Sena Karmana. See, the Mahabharata has many statements by the Lord himself, very often telling us why he is called such and such, such and such, such and such. So Achyuta, Yasman Achyuta Purvoham, I have never slipped from my transcendental state. I have never, the Lord is speaking. Lord Krishna is speaking. Yasman Achyuta Purvoham. Chuta means fall, falling down. Achyuta Purvoham. Achyuta Sena Karmana. Not falling. Achyuta means not falling down. So he never slips down from his state of self-realization. That is one meaning. He does not allow his devotees to slip down spiritually. So he does not slip down from his transcendental state. He does not allow his devotees to slip down spiritually. That is the second meaning. Achyuta occurs 3 times, I told you. So the second meaning. He never slips away from the minds of his devotees. The minds of his devotees, you know all that, you know all the stories of all the devotees. He never slips away from the minds of his devotees. See, when we say he does not slip, usually what happens in a person's life, there are 6 vikaras, changes. Birth, growing up, maturing, like that. So there are 6 vikaras, 6 transformations. When a change takes place through a vikara, one falls, Chuti falls down from the previous state. The Lord is not subject to such falling down because he never changes from one state to another. He is always in the transcendental state. It is only the ordinary man, ordinary people like us who go through all the 6 vikaras. On the other hand, even the divines, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, even the divines, they fall down from their true state. Sometimes when they are lost in love, sometimes when they are mad after some kind of a treasure or some kind of an objective, so they fall down from their true state. But the Lord, even when he appears as a man, you know, man is the most amenable to such chuti, falling down. Even when he appears as a man, Rama, Krishna, like that, he does not fall down. Therefore he is Achyutaha. It is later it's going to come Dridha Sankarshano Achyutaha. Achyuta, third occurrence is that word. There is a profound meaning in the continuity of statements Dridha Sankarshanaha Achyutaha. When we come there, I will explain that at that point. That is number 552. That Achyutaha occurrence. So then, Ajas Sarveshwara Siddha Siddhi Sarvadirachyutaham Vrishakapiramayatma Vrishakapihi. Vrishakapihi is a very difficult word. It is a very difficult combination of meanings. Only very technical way of interpreting, we have to understand it. The meaning is, he has both the forms Dharma and Varaha. Vrishakapi. Where is Dharma? Where is Varaha? I will tell you. Dharma pours forth, it fulfills all our wishes. Dharma. By following Dharma, you are fulfilling all your desires, all your wishes. Varshati, pours forth. Therefore, Dharma is called Vrisha. Dharma is called Vrisha. Vrisha denotes Dharma. Kapihi. Kapihi. Kapihi, there is a kam word there. Kam in the neuter gender. Look at the way Sanskrit provides meanings for you. Kam in the neuter gender has several meanings. Happiness, water, head, misery, hair, poison, fear. All the meanings are in kam. Later we are going to get ekona ikasava kakkim kaha itself is going to come there. There we are going to say it is happiness. But anyway, here, kapihi, I am trying to interpret kapihi. Commentators, Shankara's interpretation. Kam in the neuter gender has several meanings, I told you. So kam also means water. Now, Kat, Toyat, Bhumim, Apat, iti kapihi. That is, they are dissecting the word kapihi. Kat, Toyat. Kat means from water. Kam means water. So Kat is the from water. That is Toyat. Toya means water. Bhumim Apat. The earth was saved. He saved the earth from the water. Who? Varaha. In his Varaha Avatara, he saved the earth from the water. So, Kat Apat. From water, Bhumi was saved. Therefore, Kapihi. Vrisha Kapihi. Vrisha is Dharma. He pours forth all the fulfillment of Varaha appearance. So, the Kapihi stands for Varaha. Vrisha stands for Dharma. Therefore, he is Vrisha Kapihi. It is a very ingenious meaning, but the meaning is not made up by a commentator. In Mahabharata Shanti Parva, it is explained. Kapir Varaha Shreshtascha Dharmascha Vrishayichyate Tasmat Vrisha Kapim Praga Kashyapo Mam Prajapati. Prajapati, one of the earliest created people, Kashyapaha. He said, Kapir Varaha Shreshtascha. Varaha, Kapi means Varaha, Shreshta, the great one. Dharmascha Vrishabhuchyate. Dharma is called Vrisha. Therefore, Vrisha Kapihi. Again, it is not a concocted meaning. I will tell you about one of the important limbs of the Vedas. There are 6 limbs of the Vedas. Limb, Anga. Veda. They are called Vedanga. What are the Vedangas? Shiksha, which is phonetics. Vyakarana, grammar. Nirukta, lexicon or etymology. Kalpa, manual of rituals. Chandas, prosody. Jyotisha, astronomy and astrology. These 6 are called 6 angas. Those who study the Vedas, they also should study all these 6 angas. That is why Veda Vedanga Tattvajnaha. One who studies Vedas, one who studies all the Vedangas, then only he is considered to be a real scholar. So anyway, among these 6, there is one thing called Nirukta. Nirukta serves the purpose of a dictionary. Actually, it deals with the origin of words, their roots. The purpose is to explain the meanings of the words that occur in the Vedas. So, Yaska's Nirukta, Yaska is the author of Nirukta. Earliest author of the Nirukta is the most important work. Probably Yaska lived in the 5th century BC. That Yaska's Nirukta has the above shloka on Vrishakapihi. I just now quoted one shloka from the Mahabharata. It is not the Mahabharata shloka, it is from Nirukta, Yaska's Nirukta. Kapir Varaha Shreshtascha Dharmascha Vrishavuchyate Tasmat Vrishakapim Praha Kashyapo Mam Prajapatihim. So this is the beauty of the lexicon called Nirukta. For all the words, Sanskrit words, wherever you find difficulty in meaning, you have to go to the etymology of the word, you have to go to Nirukta. You have to study Yaska's Nirukta. Anyway, Vrishakapihi. Still I have not finished with Vrishakapihi. Bhagavatam, 10th skanda, has a rare use of this word Vrishaka. Vrishakapi to denote the Lord is rarely used because it is a very technical word. Where does it happen in Bhagavatam? You know, in the Dashama skanda, 10th skanda, Krishna has not yet been born, he is going to appear. Before that, the Bhuma Devi, she goes to Lord Creator Brahma and vents her grievances. What is her grievance? Her grievance is about the rise of all asuras on earth. There are so many asura kings, asuras who are born as kings, and they are ravaging, going against dharma, going all ethical and all dharmic principles. So she is really enraged and feels it very heavy. So the earth, Bhuma Devi, goes to Brahma to vent her grievances about the profusion of these asura kings. And therefore Brahma goes along with the other divines to Lord Vishnu and praises him. You know, Shuka is describing all this in the Bhagavatam to Parikshit. Shuka uses the word here. When he says they are all going to Lord Vishnu, he says they went to Vrishakapi. They went to Vrishakapi. You know, Bhagavatam has been commented upon by one very great author called Sridhara Vyakhyana. And here Sridhara says, commenting on the word Vrishakapi, Vrishan Degan Jiva Rupena Pravishya Akampayati iti Vrishakapihi. Is a very peculiar meaning. What does it mean? That is, the Lord, the Lord enters Tadano Pravishya. So he enters, then only the Jiva comes to life. So he enters as Jiva. Jiva Rupena Dehan Pravishya Akampayati. He monitors them. He monitors them as puppets. The Lord, through the form of the Jiva, enters the bodies of all beings and monitors them as puppets. Right? Therefore, Vrishan Dehan, Vrisha means Deha, body. Jiva Rupena Pravishya Akampayati. Akampayati means monitors as puppets. He plays with them. So, Vrishakapihi. Therefore, he is Vrishakapihi. So, I have given you two meanings for Vrishakapi. Both are technical meanings, but very interesting. Vrishakapihi. Yes. Rajasya Vrishakapi Rameyatma. Ameyatma. Ameyatma. Ameya Atma. Meya means measurability. Ameya means immeasurability. His self is immeasurable by any means. He has no form, no smell, no taste, no sound, no touch. Therefore, he cannot be measured or cognized by either eye or nose or tongue or ear or skin, nor by time or space or objectification. You cannot conclude he is this or that. Etat taditya nirdeshya, says Lalita Trishati. So he cannot be said to be this or that. He cannot be measured, he cannot be cognized, he cannot be limited in any way. Ameya Atma Yad Vacha Anabhyujitam Yena Vak Abhyujyate Yat Chakshusha Na Pashyati Yena Chakshumshi Pashyati Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. This is Kenopanishad. What you are seeing by your eyes is not Brahman, because it is by Brahman your eyes are seeing. Yad vacha anabhisitam, what cannot be said by words, by the tongue, but what monitors, what makes the tongue talk, that is Brahman. What you see before you is not Brahman. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. It goes on like that, Kenopanishad. And the Upanishads speak repeatedly about this. Ashabdam, asparsham, avyayam. It cannot be, it has no audibility, it has no, you cannot touch it and recognize it. And so, Ameya Atma. Where did I say that? Yes. Vrisha Kapirameya Atma Sarvayoga Vinishtritah. Sarvayoga Vinishtritah. Very interesting word. Please switch it off. Switch it off. Doesn't some commercial call. He is free from all bondages. Also, he is obtainable by all the yogas prescribed in the Shastras. Sarva Yoga Vinishritaha. Two kinds of meanings. He is free from all bondages. He is obtainable by all the yogas. Sarva Yoga Vinishritaha. Ajas Sarveshwara Siddha Siddhis Sarva Adirachyutaham. Vrisha Kapirameya Atma Sarva Yoga Vinishritaha. Vasur Vasumana Satya. Vasuhu. One who resides everywhere, in everything. That is one meaning. There are 8 Vasus, Ashta Vasu. Vasunam Pavakasya Asmi, says the Lord in the Gita, 10th chapter. He is the Agni Vasu. Among the Vasus there is Agni. I am the Agni among the Vasus. He says, actually he is all the Vasus, because he is everything. Vasuhu. Vasur Vasumana Satya. Vasumana, next word. Vasumana, good-hearted one. Because of his great qualities, his mind is full of bliss. Vasu means good. Full of bliss and grace. Vasur Vasumana Satyaha. Satyaha is one of the key words in the entire Vedanta, Satya. So, we are going to spend a little time on this. Again, Satyaha occurs 3 times in the Vishnu Sahasranam. What is Satyam? What is true at all 3 phases of time, past, present and future. It must be true. That is Satyam, absolute truth. What appears with form, that is called Sat. Being, actual being, that is Sat. What is not cognizable with any form is Tyat. Beyond, that is the actual being and something beyond that, transcendental. Sat and Tyat. Satyacha bhavat. Taittiriya Upanishad. Sat, Tyat, he became the Sat as well as the Tyat, therefore he is Satyam. That is, he became both the being and the beyond. He became both the actual being and the transcendental and beyond. So what is cognizable by you That is also the Lord. What is not cognizable by you, that is also the Lord. So, Satchatyacha bhavat niruktancha niruktancha nilayanancha nilayanancha. He became the defined and the undefined. Niruktam, aniruktam. Nilayanam, anilayanam. Founded, non-founded. Vijnanancha, vijnanancha. He became the intelligent and non-intelligent. It is all in Taittiriya Upanishad, 2nd chapter, a famous paragraph on Satyam. Vijnanancha, vijnanancha, satyancha, nritancha, satyam abhavati. He became the true, he became the untrue. Even the untrue one is he. Satyam cha, anritam cha, satyam abhavat. Because otherwise you will be granting a second thing. You see? You will be granting a second thing. The second thing cannot be granted. There is only one thing, Advaitam. So, as the real, he became whatever there is there. Satyam abhavat yadidam kincha tat satyamitya chakshate. That is called Satyam. Again, he entered into everything that he created. Tadanum tadeva nupravishat. He entered. Entered means an immanence, as an immanent presence. It was not like entering into a door, which a house, through the door and so on. It is he entered into everything that he created by his immanence, immanent habit. So the visibly inert thing and the invisible jiva are both the Lord. Right? In fact, this satchatyacha bhavati. Satu and tyati. Satu means earth, water and fire, the cognizable fundamental elements. Tyati means air, space, the non-cognizable element, fundamental element. Both. He is the both. That is, so one is the being, actual being, the other is the beyond. In Rigveda, Aitareya Aranyakam, there is a beautiful statement, Sat iti prana, ti iti annam, yam iti asavadityaha. Sat means prana, its prana, life, its food, ti means food. Yaha, the sun which is the soul of the whole universe. He, the Lord, is in all these three forms. He is in the prana, he is in the food, he is in the sun. That is what is stated. Wherever you go, whether it is this Veda or Purana or story or Vedanta, Upanishad, whatever, everywhere the same idea is told to you in several different ways. And look at this. Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, before, as I told you just now, the divines along with Brahma went to Lord Vishnu and prayed to him. Right? And when they prayed to him, one sloka talks about Satya very interestingly. Satyabratam satyaparam cha satyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye satyasya satyam rasa satya netram satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapanna. This is a great treatise on Satya. Satyabratam, satyaparam, trisatyam, all the yes, it is Satyavratam, truth-willed, Satyam, Satyaparam, truth-formed and true in the three phases of time. You are the womb of truth. You are embedded in truth. The world that is perceived as real is established in your truth. Truth and goodness form your two eyes. Satyasya Satyam, Rita Satyanetram. Rita Satyanetram. Rita is absolute truth. Satya is Samadarshana. Both are your eyes. So truth and goodness. we take refuge in you. That is, Tvam Prapannaha. You see, the elements, we talked about the elements a little while ago. The elements, the truth transcends these 5 elements, because these elements may disappear, but the truth will stand there. So that is Satya. Another direction, another thinking. He is good for the good people. He exists for them. They know that he exists, therefore he exists. Satsu sadhutvat satya. The good people, because they assert, therefore he exists. What is and what is not are both he. Therefore he is considered truth by the good ones. Satyancha anritancha satyam abhavate yadidam kincha tat satyamitya chakshate. A little while ago I quoted this. Satyancha anritancha, the true and the untrue are both he. That is this Satya. So this Satya is the profound, because the very definition of the Lord, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Again Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Jnana is knowledge, Ananta is infiniteness, Satya is truth. Each stands for him. It is not as if they are qualities, attributes talked about him. No. Satya is the absolute. Jnana is the absolute. Ananta, infinite, is the absolute. We have to get into real Vedantic discussion to get into the meaning of that, but that will come in Taittiriya Upanishad. Anyway, Satyaha Vasuru Vasumana Satyaha Samatma Sammitas Samaham. Samatma, Sama Atma, one who has an equanimous mind because of his total detachment. He has no like, no dislike. Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, he says in Gita. So he has Samatma, Sammitas Samaham, Samatma Sammitaha. There is a sandhi there. Samatma, when you break it, it becomes Asammitaha. But there is another commentator, Bhattabhaskara, he calls it Samatma and Sammitaha. I will give you the meanings of both. First, Asammitaha. Any material limitations will make one limited. Mitaha. Asammitaha means he is beyond all limitations. Therefore, Asammitaha. Right? I told you Sammitaha is another reading. Sammitaha means whatever he created finally points out to him. He is the one who is pointed out by everything. Therefore, he is Sammitaha. Another meaning of Sammitaha is he allowed himself to be called, restricted and owned by his parents when he was born. When he was born as Rama, Dasharatha said, he is my son, my son, my son. And Rama permitted himself, the absolute reality permitted itself to be called and owned by the human being like Dasharatha. Similarly, Vasudeva called Krishna, my son, my son, my son. He chose. Remember, when he is born, there is a difference between the Lord manifesting himself as the human birth and ordinary as people we are born. When we are born, we cannot choose our parents. When he is born, he chooses his parents. He says, Pitaram rochayamasa tata dasharatam nripam. I am going to be born on earth. I am going to be choosing Dasharatha as my father. He decides it. This is Valmiki Ramayana sloka. Pitaram rochayamasa tata dasharatam nripam. So he chose to become the son of so and so. Anyway, so asammitaha or sammitaha. Samatma sammitas samaha. Samaha. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. He is beyond all transformations all the time. All the transformations are only the handiwork of Prakriti. But he is always beyond transformation. That is one meaning. Samaha also means ma saha vartate iti samaha. Ma means Lakshmi. He is always with Lakshmi. He is always with Lakshmi. Therefore Samaha. Always with Uma. Therefore he is Somaha. Somaha means Shiva. Samaha is Vishnu. So Samatma Samhitas Samaham Amogha Pundarikaksha. Amogha. Amogha. Mogha means waste, vain. But he is Satyakama Satya Sankalpa. From Chandogya Upanishad I am telling you. Satyakama, when he desires something, it happens. When he determines something, Sankalpa, it happens. There is no question of failure. There is no question of failure. For us also it is same. Dhyayan Stuvan Namasyam Mishya. By meditating on him, by praising him, by prostrating to him, we get all that we desire. Our efforts will not go in vain. Therefore, he is Amogaha. Moga means vain. Amogaha means nothing in vain, either for him or for us who are devotees. Amogha Pundarikaksha. Pundarikaksha, lotus-eyed. Pundarika, lotus, elementary meaning, lotus-eyed one. But Shankara has an interesting Vedantic meaning. Hridayastham pundarikam ashnute vyapnoti tatra upalakshitaha iti. Hridayastham is yat pundarikam puramadhya saggastham. The heart lotus which is invested there. Tatra apitakram gaganam vishokas tasmin yadantastadupasitavyam. Says the Narayana Upanishad. The lotus, inverted lotus is there in the heart lotus. That is where he is visible. You have to imagine it right there. You have to see him there. So he pervades the lotus space within the heart. Yat pundarikam puramadhya saggastam tatrapi dakram gaganam vishoka. He is in the lotus space. Tatrapi dakram. Even there he is very subtle. It is very difficult to see him, to realize him. So that is why he is Pundarikakshaha. Okay, only two more words and we close today. What are the two more words? Again, very technical words. Vrishakarma, Vrishakritihi, Vrishakarma. I have already told you the meaning of Vrisha today. Vrisha means dharma. Vrishakarma means every action of his has the stamp of dharma. Vrisha. Right? He shows to the world that only by dharma you can achieve anything. Of course, he doesn't have to show it to the world. He doesn't have to achieve anything. Nanavaptam vaptavyam vartayevacha karmani, says he in the Gita. He has nothing to obtain which he has not obtained. But still, in order to give us the right example, yadyad acharati shreshtaha tattad evetaro jana. Whatever the great man does, all the other people will follow. Therefore, I am still vartayevacha karmani. I am still doing the karma. You see, name parthasti kartavyam nanavaptam avaptavyam, he says. I have nothing to do, I have nothing to obtain, I have nothing to achieve, but still I am in karma. So, doing the dharmic karma as a model, as a role model for the people. So, he is Vrishakarma, dharma karma. And the last one today, Vrishakritihi. Again, Vrisha means dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects those who protect it. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In order, I manifest myself again and again. And in Valmiki Ramayana it says, Ramo vigrahavan dharma. Rama is nothing but the personification of dharma. Vigrahavan dharma. So he is Vrishakritihi. Vrisha is dharma. Dharma personified. Dharma personified. Another meaning, it's interesting. Vrishaha means bull. The Vahana of Lord Shiva. But Vishnu is the Dharma Devata. He became the vehicle of Shiva, Vahana of Shiva, say the Puranas. What does the Vahana do? The Vahana usually pinpoints who is riding it. Peacock shows that it is Murugan, Lord Subramanya, who is riding it. Garuda shows that it is Vishnu who is riding it. So also, to pinpoint Shiva, Vishnu takes the form of the bull, therefore Vrishakriti. He is Vrishakriti. Vrisha is bull, Kriti, Akriti is form, he takes the form of the bull. And Vishnu Sahasranam is endless. It goes on like this. It's very interesting. We have seen some very technical words today. We will continue in the next session. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu.